It's not upon me to like hijack the game and, you know, try to make it about me and it's a national TV game. Other guys had it going, so, you know, if I had to be in the corner, if I had to, you know, be a facilitator at times, you know, so be it.
Everybody's allowed to have an off night, but Tatum essentially saying there that he's willing some nights to take the back seat as their best player. What's that deep breath for? You have a problem with that?
You're the man. Jayson, you're the man. I want you to hijack the game. I want you to do that. Look, at the end of the day, he's a great team guy. I think people like playing with him, like being his teammate. But in these situations, what Denver really sent is a message of, we can take your guy out. You're the man. We're going to take that guy out. And Boston can't do that with Jokic. So it is a problem when you're starting to game plan and figure this thing out, because for me, and a lot of this is not even like a physical aspect of skills and this and that. This is a mental switch that has to be switched on in not just Jayson Tatum, the whole Boston Celtics team, because I feel like they have this like little brother syndrome almost, because they've been so close. Anything less is a championship, but they get beat down in these big games, and I think that just wears mentally on you. So they need to reset the mindset more than anything. The jumpers, okay, they weren't falling. We know those will fall. But going into the playoffs, you need to find a way to win when that three ball's not going.
Well, they were blitzing Jayson Tatum, not letting him isolate. And they basically said, it's not the same thing the Warriors did where they didn't guard Jaylen Brown, right?
That was drastic.
That was drastic, and it was over the top, and it was like we all could see what they were doing. But they essentially said, we want Jaylen Brown to shoot more. The Boston Celtics are 7-7 when he shoots more than 20 times a game. They're 8-10 when he shoots more than 25 times a game. So even though he had 40 points, that's what they're trying to get him to do. They're taking the ball out of Jayson Tatum's hands and making Jaylen Brown shoot. He had 40.
Right.
But as you said, Jayson Tatum is the guy. And his idol, Kobe Bryant. There are games when you're teams tried to do that to Kobe too, but he just kept shooting.
But if they're going to win a championship tonight, do they need more from their best player, who is Jayson Tatum?
Absolutely. They need much more in those crucial moments. And I think, you know, I have this situation where one of the greats in the WNBA, Simone Augustus, told me what makes Diana Taurasi great, and she's the all-time leading scorer in the WNBA, is that she has that vulnerability to take the tough shots, knowing that there might be failure on the other side. I think when we look at the Boston Celtics, they're all like, okay, we're all working together as key pieces, but he needs to go out there and those field goals. And I would take, you know, someone like you, Coach Becky, because I know when you coach Asia in the toughest moments, you say, I don't care what happens, be aggressive, and we'll live with the consequences. I'm not saying Coach Joe Mazzulla is not saying that, but in some regards, you would see that, especially that confidence in him, if he had the whole system behind him in those circumstances. And I think they fall prey to that more often than not. Now, lastly, I'll say this when it comes to Jayson Tatum. I think there's a lot of criticism on him. Oh, his MVP case. We all knew it was probably going to be a long shot based off of the rest of the field. And they also have the highest margin of victory, the Celtics. So you look at those crunch time numbers, I don't think that tells you everything. Plus, we've seen him show up 51 points in a Game 7 to close out a series. We just want to see it consistently for them to build the requisite confidence for them to move forward.
And I think the point being, no, you don't want to hijack the game. Like, that's a very, I don't know, kind of even-keeled statement in a sense, because you got to know when to hijack the game and when not to. And when your team is in limbo of losing a game, that is the time to jump in and hijack the game. And that back and forth that they had going on, right? Like that down the stretch, down the wire. Like, you have to find ways to make an imprint. And here's the thing. You got to live with the consequences. Being great or being good, you got to be good with both. But you got to be able to take that shot and take it with confidence every single time you let it fly.
It's another playoff atmosphere for sure. As we talk pregame, you know, you got to give the Celtic fans credit. You know, they always come out strong. You know, but you know what we say, right? They can take that L on the way out, baby.
I feel like I should have guarded Jokic a little more. I wish I would have had those opportunities a little bit. I could keep them away from the basket, and we could have took away some of those layups they got. But I feel like, you know, we still had every chance to win this game. We just came up short.
So Jaylen Brown, he said he wanted to crack against Jokic, but nobody has been able to slow this guy down. I mean, look at this. His second season with 20 30-point triple-doubles, only Oscar and Russ have had more years posting those kind of numbers. It was a statement win from top to bottom for the defending champs, the reigning finals MVP. But Becky, what did the Nuggets prove to you last night?
Well, they proved they're still the team to beat at the end of the day. I think the championship runs through Denver. And Jokic just proved he's unguardable. And the reason why he's unguardable is because you do this, he does that. You do that, he does this. He is constantly just making the right play. And what I really love about him is there's zero hesitation about making the right play. He doesn't care if it's an assist, a hockey assist. He is making the right read every time he touches the ball. And he just puts your defense in huge dilemmas.
So, Becky, are you saying it's a little bit of this and a little bit of that? Just a little bit of this and a little bit of that. Look, he put on a master class of being able to be dominant and versatile in different ways. When he was on the block, he finished it off the block. And then when he was on the block, he passed off the block. The Denver Nuggets, to me, you said it best. The title runs through Denver. Maybe not literally, because Boston Celtics, I think they have like a 5 or 6 game edge overall. So if these two meet in the NBA Finals, it will go through Boston game 1. But still, it seems to me that Nikola Jokic, he's the best player on the floor. And I know we argue about these supporting cast because that has been their big improvement, Boston. It feels like Jokic's his supporting cast is tailored perfectly for him.
Right.
He's got perimeter shooting. You've got, Porter Jr. knocking down shots, KCP. You've got Jamal Murray, who knows how to bob and dance and weave. They do a beautiful tango. And most importantly, there'd be some games where maybe some people would say, okay, Aaron Gordon, shoot the ball. Doesn't matter. He's cutting, he's moving, and it feels like he has, that's so Raven. I don't have to look at you. We can just throw it behind my head and throw it to you. That's okay. I'm glad you guys know.
I got it. Not to mention,
it's
we had
a future
all these,
that he can see.
Exactly. We had all these questions about who was going to replace Bruce Brown, and Peyton Watson is so seamlessly stepped up into that sort of sixth man type of position, particularly defensively, Ramona.
Well, I thought Watson was big in that game. That is the big question with Denver and their bench, because they let a lot of those guys go. They didn't pay them. They elevated the young guys. But to me, like, when you watch that game, this felt like a finals showdown. It felt like if Jayson Tatum was going to make a case to be the MVP over Jokic, this was the night. That was the shot. We just showed it. He didn't hit it. But when the Denver Nuggets, you cannot double Jokic because they have all shooters and they have the best lob threat in all of basketball in Aaron Gordon. I mean, yes, that was an incredible pass. I cannot watch that play enough.
I know.
Like, I just want to see it over and over and over. But Aaron Gordon with the follows, Aaron Gordon is always there. And every team needs one of those. Like, when you talk to teams around the league, like, what player do you need on your team? Well, we need someone like Aaron Gordon. The Olympic team, what do you guys need? We need someone like Aaron Gordon who can guard on the perimeter 1 to 5 and be a lob threat to where you cannot double Jokic because of how dominant Aaron Gordon is.
I do wonder. He made the first. He misses the second. The Pacers getting out in transition here. A chance to tie the game and send it to overtime. And says no. Anthony Edwards elevates. Hits his head on the rim as he goes for the game-sealing block.
You know he grew up playing football, right? That is
it doesn't matter what sport it is.
Across the middle.
That is a 47-inch vertical
Best
right
block
there.
I've seen in a decade.
Let's take a listen to Mr. Edwards after that incredible block. Woo.
I hit my head, I think, on the rim. It's hurting real bad. And I landed on my wrist. But, I mean, I saw him with the lane. I knew he was going for the layup, and I was just like, man, I'm finna go get this. I ain't never jumped that high in my life.
He actually has jumped that high this season. That's what's so incredible. He does it over and over again. Anthony Edwards, his game-saving block. It got our producers thinking about where it ranks on the all-time list of most wild blocks in NBA history. So we start with LaFonso Ellis.
Oh
my
and
God.
it was not the block, it was the snatch.
It was the disrespect where he just held
on.
Snatch.
You get to stand and preen a little bit after that.
Yeah. And then we got Shaq. This is on Rex Chapman in 96. Made the cameras in the Forum go out.
Breaking cameras, breaking glass.
He used to break rims backwards.
And then, Becky, you remember this one. Ben Wallace in 2000. Pins it and then snatches it. What?
These are disgusting. These blocks are... I'm sitting over here with stank face because these are incredible.
They need a warning before you watch this. LeBron on Thiago Splitter in 2013. This was the finals, too.
Dislocate a shoulder like that.
And, of course, we need to take one more look at Ant-Man last night. There are no words.
No.
There are pogo stick, trampoline.
By the way, did your heart skip a beat when he's landing there? Like,
Yes, absolutely.
His arm was against the backboard. Like his head would have went higher than the rim.
Correct.
Had the rim not been there.